This meeting of the Parks and Rec Commission, Seaside, California, is now called to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Lobo. Commissioner Moulton.
Present.
Commissioner Gaines Lynch. Commissioner Walton. Commissioner White. Vice Chair Nielsen.
Here.
Chair Maxwell.
Present.
For the record, we have a quorum.
Okay. Item number 3 is public comment. Members of the public wishing to address this commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the city of Seaside, but not on this agenda, may do so during the public comment period for up to 3 minutes. Comments on specific agenda items are heard under that item. For the public record, please state your name.
Members of the public in the chamber, please approach the podium. Members of the public on Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature or dial *9.
Okay, seeing no members in the chambers wishing to make public comment, are there any members on Zoom? Okay, public comment is closed. Okay, item number 4 is approval of minutes of our September 16th, 2024 meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes of September 16th.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the meetings of the September 16th meeting. Anything under question? Changes? No. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Okay. Item number 5 is review of the agenda. Okay, I would like to go down to business item 7A, and I would like to table that item until a future meeting.
Can I make a motion?
Yes, you may.
I motion that we table 7A business item until a future meeting.
Okay, I will second that. Or vice versa. Anything on the question? Okay, should we do
It's a roll call
roll
vote.
call vote, please?
Commissioner Lobo. Commissioner Walton. Commissioner Moulton.
Nay.
Commissioner White. Commissioner Gaines. Vice Chair Nielsen.
Yes.
Chair Maxwell.
Aye.
For the record, the motion passes 3-1.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other items? Anyone?
Will there gonna be a time when we will readdress this item again,
Next meeting.
next meeting?
Yeah, well, future meeting, I said. Which should most likely be our next meeting. Okay. Public comment, or do we need public comment after that?
Yeah.
Okay, public comment.
Members of the public in the chamber, please approach the podium. On Zoom, raise your hand feature, dial *9. Chair, I'm not seeing anyone.
Okay, and seeing no one in the chambers either, public comment is closed on that item. Okay. Presentation. 6A, receive an update from Friends of the Seaside Parks Association. By Jeannie Reese.
Hi,
Good evening.
good evening. So, I have I have a presentation that will give you an update about what we've been doing. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about, further improvements at Lincoln Cunningham Park, going forward after the trails are done. Our goal remains the same, and I'm really happy to say that we fulfill our goal every time we meet every Saturday. So I think that that is a really cool and awesome thing. We are really getting ready for new plantings now because we're going to be starting new plantings in November, which is really coming upon us. So we're getting rid of plants that are invasive species and clearing out dead plants as well. So this is an example of a new planting area at Havana Solis, and what they're doing is making trenches so that the water is going to go to the low spots and that there's going to be as much rainwater as possible there. And that's exactly where the new plants are going to go, so that when it rains, we're optimizing that rainwater. And so they're digging the trenches and then filling it with leaves, branches, as much as possible, but it's going to remain kind of the lowest place so that the water gets collected there. And the mulching. So every Saturday we go and there's this big pile of mulch or 2 piles of mulch or 3 piles of mulch, and it gets distributed so that when it does rain, hopefully the weeds won't take over. When it does rain, the water will be retained in that place for as long as possible. So mulch is like a really, when I say mulch, I'm really talking about wood chips that the city provides for us, and we use it as our mulch. And so these are city projects that we have asked the city to fulfill. And the biggest one recently, especially at Havana Solis, is a new underground tank. And the new underground tank is going to facilitate that new area that I just showed you that was being, where the trenches were being built. And it's kind of off to the side, and it's going to supply water to that area. It's kind of just kind of shouldering the area where the new picnic tables are. And speaking of that area, there was a ribbon cutting for the new picnic area last month in September. And at that particular time, there definitely was helpers in the garden, and also Jess Soriano, the woman on the right-hand side. She is the designer of the mural that's going to go on the garden shed. And she was there taking ideas from the community about what they wanted to see on the mural. And then also for young people, she had a rock painting activity, and those rocks were then taken over to this little area that we've got this little kindness rock display there that is that was kind of added to because of that activity. And we still are going to get a sign for the Havana Food Gardens that's supplied by Blue Zones. And the sign is not finished yet. And then, like I said last time, we hope to get a frame for it done by perhaps Eagle Scouts. And so this is the design for the mural. Obviously, the shed has 4 sides. And so what you're seeing is the designs as they wrap around the shed. And to your far left is the back of the shed, and then it goes to the right side of the shed, and then the front of the shed. And then the darker area is just the back of the shed that really isn't seen by the public. And I have some other views too. Yeah, so this gives you an idea. So the back of the shed and the front wall I included there so that you get a feel. And what she has tried to do is to include the food veggie garden and also the plants that we have in the pollinator garden, and to try to show how the pollinators kind of like interact with both. And it's really cool because I'm in the garden like a lot, and the bees are there, the ladybugs are there, the butterflies are there. It's all there. It's a very cool place to be. And it also is kind of showing you what FOSPA is trying to do by bringing in pollinators to these habitats. So it's a really cool place to be. And Jess Soriano, the artist, is a graduate of CSUMB's scientific illustration program. So she brings a lot of scientific understanding to what she's painting, which I think is really cool. A little bit earlier in September at Highland Otis, there were about 50 students from Stevenson School who helped out, especially they distributed mulch. They made also, trenches to capture water. What's really great about these high school students, though, is that you've got 50 people, who are really energetic, able-bodied, and, they can do some of the heavy lifting. So they created some mulch pathways at Highland Otis, and where there is the new playset, if kind of like in that lower area, there's not really any, we can't really do planting there because it's not near a water source. So they definitely did really big trenches and then just put in a whole bunch of seeds. And so when the rain comes, hopefully some of that will produce some plants that we won't be able to maintain them. It's too far from the water source, but just nature will hopefully do its thing and make it beautiful. And here's some of them in action. What you see on the left-hand side is exactly what I'm talking about. So people went around and with clippers and took off some of the seed pods, the stems and the seed where the seeds are hiding, and put those in buckets, and that's what went into the trench. So hopefully that will be fruitful in the future. And so I don't know if you've been over to Lincoln Cunningham recently, but it's a pretty cool place right now. Yeah, the one right before, I'm sorry, Dan. Yeah, that one, I know it's a little hard to see, but in the foreground is one of the trails, what it looked like, so that's going to be our before picture for that part of the trail. And you can see the people in the background that was our last work day on September 14th until the trails get done. So we're really kind of excited about that. And then on the 14th, we finished doing we have like a little meandering trail inside of our pollinator habitat. The idea is that we're hoping that we can, when the trails are done, get more people to come inside of the garden and learn more about what we're trying to do. So that's kind of the whole idea about making it really inviting and hoping people will come in, and we hope to get some more signage about what the plants are and make it kind of an educative experience. So there was a groundbreaking for that, and like I said, it's so exciting to see because every time you go by Lincoln Cunningham Park, when you look at the little openings, you see something incredible happening. Like if you go by San Pablo now, it used to be that there was this really big hill that you have to climb to get up to the park. And now it is like almost street level, It's like you can walk right in, and it's really awesome. So this is how they were making it street level. I don't know what the thing is called, but they were taking dirt out and he really quickly, you know, moving the dirt around, getting ready to make the trails make the trails like what they should be. So it's really exciting to see. This is, we're trying to take before and after pictures. This is just a simple one that I did the other day. It just shows you how fast they're moving. And one of our stewards, Mike Lang, is taking pictures. He lives in a house that's adjacent to this, so he's taking pictures. And then we've also got somebody taking drone pictures to show the progress, you know, so we're obviously really excited about that. So I wanted to talk a little bit too about improvements like after the trails are in. And I know that the Park and Recs Commission was so generous about thinking about Lincoln Cunningham and thinking about the adult exercise equipment circuit. And, you know, that is an awesome idea. But I'm also today representing the stewards of Lincoln Cunningham, and the stewards of Lincoln Cunningham, there's 7 of us, and we are really committed to this park. When there was nothing in the park, they were the people who were taking like 5-gallon buckets of water from one side of the park to the other side of the park to water pollinator plants, California natives, so that there would be some greenery in the park. We have a group of about 25 households that are on a mailing list that we communicate with regularly. Even with the construction going on, we have communicated through Dan, through Andreas. We've communicated with them so that we can still water even when the construction is going on. So we really appreciate all of the cooperation that's happening. And the 7 of us are really committed to making that park really awesome. And we just wanted to kind of reiterate the idea that our priorities really had to do with like when the trails got done, we were really, really hoping that we could get in a play set. You know, we had children's play equipment taken away because it was like rusty and really, really old about a year ago. And we are hoping that one of the first things that is able to go into the park is going to be play equipment. And then we would love to have a picnic area. We would love to have a shade area. There's very few trees in the park, and the only ones that are there are like not in places where you could put, you know, picnic tables. So we would love to, when the trails are done, be able to look at the families that are around there and say, hey, look at, you know, this new park for us. And we who are the stewards, the 7 of us who are stewards, we're like all in our 60s and 70s. And we see that there are a whole bunch of families that are moving around us. And we really think that it's important to consider having play equipment as being like one of the first things that we put in. So I just wanted to say that to you all because I know, and I can't say this enough, I can't thank you enough for thinking about Lincoln Cunningham and thinking about like what would be cool to put in there once the trails are done. That's a really awesome thing. We just wanted to make our preferences known because we kind of feel like we're kind of on the ground at Lincoln Cunningham. We're kind of in touch with the families that live around there. So that's all that I have. Yeah, just you're always welcome to come on Saturdays from 10 to 12. And if you go to our website, there's a really nice schedule. So you're always welcome. And even if you just want to come and say hello and see what we're doing, that's a really cool thing too. So thank you.
Thank you for your presentation.
Welcome.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions or feedback, comments?
No, I just want to say, congratulations. You're moving and you're getting things done. And, kids' play equipment, I would say should be going there without question. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Commissioner, Vice Chair.
It's just so impressive. Your presentations are great and it's so effective to be able to see the pictures and what's happening, and the before and after idea is really special. So thank you for all the efforts.
Thank you.
And I also agree about the children's play apparatus. And I do believe, if I could be wrong, but I believe that that is on our work plan
Okay, great.
to have children's play equipment in that park. I would have to look at it, but I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it is part of that work plan that we have.
It is, and I believe what Ms. Reese is referring to was the NIC recommendations in the funding, and how, you know, there was funding allocated for play structure and funding allocated for the adult fitness. And so if I heard Ms. Reese correctly, she is advocating more for the playground and for the picnic area shelter. As you can see from this picture, there is really three or four areas, if you will, right? Like we have, let me see.
Oh, that's better. Thank you.
The 5 to 12 play-year-old area,
Right.
2 to 5 play area, the plaza, which she's referring to as the picnic shelter, benches and whatnot, and then the fitness area. When you think of play areas, right? Like, yeah, 2 to 5 is good, but most 3 to 5-year-olds are playing on the 5 to 12 anyway, right? So regardless, you know, you think about it, like what getting a play in there would be one of them, but there are 4 sections really that we're looking at. So for the NIC funding, there was 2 that were recommended for this park, which was a play area and the fitness area.
Okay.
Can I just add to that? Because I really appreciate you being more clear, and I didn't mean to be deceptive about it, but it did have to do, it did come up because of the NIC funds. And what I got, and I might be mistaken, but what all the stewards got when this plan was put together is that they took the community's ideas, which were really awesome. They took all of the community's ideas because, you know, we said things like, okay, we need a play area for small children and older children, and we need a picnic area. And I think my husband said, oh, how about an amphitheater? Because we lost that kind of little stagey area that used to be by the basketball court. So a lot of people were like throwing in ideas. But what I really got when the BFS Landscaping was making presentations about this, I got the idea that no matter what, they were trying to make it clear where the pathways were. And the different areas, you know, like the fitness area, Central Plaza, all of that are definite suggestions. But you can tell even with the small amount of work that the construction has rendered so far, you can tell that some of those are not going to play out exactly the way they look in them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, that amphitheater, there's not room for like an amphitheater, even small. So I think in my mind, there was some flexibility to the way that we put the improvements and the amenities in there. So I just wanted to reiterate the steward's desire to have the play equipment in first. And I personally think, and I think the stewards think this too, that maybe the 2 and the 5-year-olds or the 5 and the 12 could actually be combined. You know, like you said, the kids are going to go to the coolest piece of equipment that's there. So maybe some of this configuration is actually up for debate. I remember in that open space, they had originally put a volleyball court. And then Amy Sheehan came and said, I don't think we need a volleyball court. And then the next time it was open space. Do you see what I mean? So I think I got the feeling that the stuff that goes in there was kind of flexible. What wasn't flexible was the trails. I might be wrong, but that's kind of what I got. So.
Okay, I have another question on something else. The young people that helped you or helped FOSBA, the youth volunteers from Robert Louis
Stevens,
Stevenson
yeah,
School?
yeah.
Okay, is there any way possible that in the future you could reach out more to the local schools like MPUSD?
You know,
They're a private school, I know, and they're
yeah,
whatever. And
yeah.
but it's appreciated. The help
Yeah,
is appreciated.
yeah.
But I think maybe we could, I don't know, I'm hopeful that we can have more participation from local kids.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good notion. And Donna Penwell goes to the international school, and I think I've showed a couple of their pictures too. The students get an opportunity to choose where they'd like to do their service. So she goes to this forum that they've got. And just maybe 2 weeks ago, there was this forum. And so she goes and she says, okay, I'm with Sustainable Seaside and I'm with FOSBA. And this is what we do. So to get your community service hours, you can come here. And then usually probably, I don't know, I would say from like January to March, we have, or actually, she actually shepherds the volunteers who from that particular school have said they would like to do that. I do not know the history of how much Sustainable Seaside or FOSBA has reached out in the past. I kind of got the feeling that they had maybe reached out to say, I'm really not sure. I cannot speak to that with any authority. I just know that is there, and I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
If I may, Chair,
sir.
I think part of it may be the community service requirement, because I don't know if MPUSD has the same requirements for community service as Stevenson, or I believe there was another school that came out prior, like 2 years ago, potentially. So that could be one of the things as well.
That could be.
Okay, anyone else?
No, Dan answered my question in regard to the Monterey Peninsula Unified School District involving with their community service hours. So they're
Okay,
things that we looked into.
thank you so much for your great presentation and
thank
all
you.
your hard work.
Yeah, thank you so
Appreciate
much.
Okay. The next item is 7B. Discuss commissioner attendance at the 2025 California Parks and Recreation Society Conference in Sacramento. Oh, do we? Right. This conference is in March, right? Okay. Well, I get it on my phone, the CPRS. notifications. I don't know if anyone else does.
Morning, Chair, Commissioners, Dan Mealis, Recreation Director, and I'm going to give you a presentation on the California Parks and Recreation Society Annual Conference. A little background. So during the fiscal year budget process for 24-25, the commission's budget had been allocated $5,000 to attend the annual conference, California Parks and Recreation Society. This year it will be in Sacramento. It starts on Tuesday, March 18th and goes through Friday, the 21st. So CPRS was founded in 1946. It's a nonprofit, professional and public interest organization. It has over 4,000 members, I being one of them, who are centered in the campaign of Parks Make Life Better. You may see this around. It was started through CPRS. They're the ones that came up with the slogan, got it trademarked. Membership is distributed throughout the state. 86% of recreation agencies in California have at least one active member. And CPRS also has a variety of national and international company members that provide solutions to help members work smarter and faster. A lot of those members are also from just exhibitors or vendors that you may be in contact with, whether it be landscape architects or restroom companies and the like. So a little bit about the CPRS structure. It is comprised of 5 regions in 15 districts. Each region has 3 districts. We here in Seaside, we are part of Region 2 in District 6. As you can see, it's pretty spread out throughout the state. And within that, there are sections, so the administrative section, aging section, aquatics, development operations, educators, recreation, and recreation therapy. And I would like to state that the organization has an overall state board, which has a variety of board members from president, president-elect, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and other kind of ad hoc positions. And then each one of these 15 districts and each of the sections also has its own board of directors with those same positions. So currently I am the secretary for the administrator section, which is basically a section that's designed for Park and Rec directors, superintendents, kind of higher level positions as we try to pave the way for the lower level staff to become director level positions. And each one of those sections all has a focus within these areas. So if you are really active in older adults, you would want to be participating in the aging section. If you like aquatics, you'd be participating in the aquatics section. And each one has their own networking availability, partnerships, trainings, and opportunities for whichever one that you'd like. What happened there? That was the wrong one. Okay. So the annual conference, when you look at the schedule here, so Tuesday, it starts on Tuesday, and Tuesday is kind of the beginning day. And this is more for conference intensives, right? These are an additional cost. And each one of these sessions are pretty much all day long. So you have the Recreation Therapy Institute, Parks Make Life Better tour. This one would be one where they go and they'll tour a variety of different parks within the Sacramento area, from aquatic parks to sports facilities and the like. There's the Youth Sports Academy, Aging Service Intensive, and Aquatics Intensive. So you have more focus-based trainings that will take 5 to 8 hours, depending on which one you want to participate in. But those ones are an added cost. The actual conference itself begins on Wednesday the 19th. What generally starts with an opening keynote. There are 3 educational sessions throughout the day. Each session's about an hour and 15 minutes. This has the biggest time frame to visit the expo hall. There's generally 200 vendors in the expo hall, with anything you can think of. Really great for meeting, making connections if you are looking at potential renovations and remodels and whatnot. One thing I did forget, and that they're creating a new section, and the reason why I want to include the commissioners, as they are working on building a new section that's focused solely on commissioners and elected officials, as we are trying to get more participation from these boards and commissions, as well as our elected officials, knowing that you are the driving force of continuing our profession, but also you have the voice with the elected officials when you make your recommendations and whatnot. So that is something that they're supposed to be launching this year. However, I haven't seen anything officially yet, but I want to just make sure that the door is open for other commissioners to participate, if that you so choose. Going back to the schedule. So Wednesday, Thursday, there's another general session, which is another type keynote. You get a really, really good discussion there. There's 4 educational sessions. Expo Hall is open. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, there's also an evening social, which is generally a pretty good time, from my experience. And it's just really great networking opportunities. And then Friday's a half day. There's an opening keynote or a closing keynote, and then 2 educational sessions in the morning. And when we talk about those educational sessions, when you have 3 or 4 in a day, during each time slot, there's probably 10 that you can choose from. So depending on what you're interested in, whether it be parks or aquatics, older adults, maybe it's leadership skills or whatever it is, there's a variety of options that you can choose in each one of those sessions. When we come to Sacramento, they do spend some that is more on advocacy and, trying to see some of the new assembly bills that are popping up that may affect Parks and Recreation. So there'll be potentially some discussions on that. They're still developing the schedule. So when we look at the cost, we registered before November 13th. The full conference is $675. After the 13th, it goes up to $765. And then you can see there's a breakdown between if you want to go Wednesday only, Wednesday and Thursday only, but those prices are more if you do the days only, right? So it's more conducive to do the whole schedule. And so if all 7 members of the current commission right now decided to attend, the conference total would be $47.25 if we registered prior to the 13th of November. Then the cost would go up. And mind you that this is only for the registration. It doesn't include hotel or travel or anything like that. So, and we have 5,000 budgeted for this commission. Got some pictures here. This is from the last conference that took place last year in Palm Springs. This was the outdoor social that occurred on the opening night. You can see everyone just around having a good time. This is a picture of one of the playground exhibits in the expo hall. Another expo hall. They do other variety of classes. There's morning yoga that you can go and you can sign up for and join, and then just the different classes that happen each year. I'll say I've been going to conference every year probably for the last 10 years or so. I've missed maybe one. Every year I go, I get something out of it. It's definitely worthwhile to Parks and Rec professionals, but I do see the benefit in getting commissioners to attend as well. So with that, I would take any questions. Really this is more for discussion, whether or not the commissioners decide that they want to attend. If that is something that you would like to do, I will work with you. I get you registered and we can figure all those details out as we look forward to it.
Anyone have any questions? When was the date that it was the lowest cost?
November 13th. So that's right now we're in the early bird phase.
Yeah.
Early bird ends on November 13th. And then it goes up. And then there's I didn't put it in there, but there's a late one, I think in January, February, where it goes up even more.
Well, we would have to decide before our next meeting.
I
Because
mean-
that's after the 13th. And there's some of our commissioners that aren't here, so can't really speak for them. I'm all for going to it. You know, if my scheduling of my doctor appointments and things like that permits, and I believe it does, as far as that time. Anyone else have any?
No, that, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No, so I won't even be in California.
Okay,
I'll be down in Georgia visiting family.
Commissioner Moulton.
So thank you so much. Wonderful presentation. Very informative. So my question is, in the hypothetical that you had put up there where all the commissioners go and we like get close to that $5,000 thing, does that become like some kind of out of pocket expense or like what's the like what are we dealing with there?
The out of pocket would be whether or not your own travel and lodging. So you're talking, 2 nights in a hotel, and when you would leave, and then whatever would be for, gas and whatnot.
And that's regardless of whether one goes or all of us goes.
I think if we have enough budget, we can work on the hotel, and there is always potential to all carpool down in a city van is another potential. The hotel rooms in Sacramento are roughly around 180 a night. Generally, there's a one that we normally stay at when we go. We don't stay at the Hilton or the Marriott, but maybe it's a little better now, but some walking distance to the conference.
And then do we know who the keynote speaker is this year yet? Or
They haven't announced that yet, but you can constantly check the CPRS website. They've been updating it right now. They're still getting all their submissions for the sessions. And then once they have those keynotes, they'll push them out. But generally that probably won't happen until January.
okay, thank you.
I will say that 90% of the time, the keynotes are pretty spot on and they're really relevant. Occasionally, they might have one that may not be as engaging, but the ones that I've seen recently have been pretty good.
Vice Chair.
Thank you for your presentation. And I personally would have to think about this myself and see if it was pertinent to the things I'm interested in Parks and Rec, mostly parks and trees and older adults. So I don't have an answer yet if I would go or not.
And that's totally fine. I wasn't necessarily, requesting you give me an answer today. That's why I just wanted to make sure that was on the timeline so the commission could see like, okay, hey, here's where we are. If we miss the early bird, so be it. I get it, right? We already know that one's not going to be there. So we're down to 6. If all 6 of you want to go, we can figure that piece out. But I am a strong advocate of this organization. I wouldn't be where I am today without my membership and my engagement with it. And I can say that 100%. Like this is truly important to our profession. And when you look at, I have a lot of colleagues that are out of state. And when I tell them about our state conference, our state organization or whatnot, it compares up there with NRPA, which is the national. Other states aren't as in tune as we are here in California. So we get people from out of state that will come to our state conference instead of their own state conferences because it is, that well-renowned, if you will.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I did attend one that was the local district conference a number of years ago, and I enjoyed that. Got a lot out of that one. I don't remember when it was, like 5 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, that's when we did so our region 2, we did our own mini conference. It was we had in Morgan Hill, one day thing. And that's kind of like the little taste of what you can see. Just imagine that times three, with events that occur even into the evening and things like that. Yeah, I think, yeah. And Diane, you might have went to that too, did you? Yeah, see?
Alicia did.
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's really, kind of just getting like I said, getting a taste of what it's like. But when you're only meeting the individuals that are, semi-local. Here, we're talking everyone from across the state. We'll get a lot more Northern California people in Sacramento. Just like when we go, every year it rotates. It's either Northern California or Southern California. So you'll see the trends, but there's still a good contingency from Southern California.
Sound like you get a lot of different perspectives from around the state coming in.
Absolutely. Right. And, it's the networking is the biggest piece that really comes out of it, because I may be dealing with an issue here with pickleball, right? And I mean, everyone kind of has their own issues with it, but the conversations that you have with these individuals can just spark up, even if it's at dinner, right? So it goes far beyond what you're doing during the day when you're in your session. It carries over into, the evening and even the next day, or, even weeks down the road, you make these contacts that like something may pop up, right? So I would just, think about it, look at your calendars and see, and if it's something that you really want to look into more, reach out to me and we can start putting the plan in place to get you going.
Okay, thank you very much. Public comment?
Hold on, let me get back to my other seat. Members in the public in the chamber, please approach the podium. On Zoom, use the raise your hand feature, dial *9. Chair, I am not seeing anybody.
Okay, seeing no one in the chambers for the public and no one on Zoom, public comment is closed. Okay, number 8 is reports from recreation staff.
All right. Well, from our last meeting, which was in mid-September, we've been busy working on our upcoming activity guide, putting together some new programs for the winter, spring. We held the 70th birthday. I want to thank everyone who participated in that. If you didn't hear, we had a drone show, and we did have a snafu at the airport that made us pivot last minute on the location, so we had to move it to Seaside Middle School. However, I think it was really well received. If you haven't seen the footage, it is on the city's Facebook page. So we are really excited about that. I think it was something unique, different for Seaside, the community itself. And really, it was just an overall good time. There was a little celebration inside the chamber for those residents that have been here for 50 years or more. And I think just hearing the stories from those residents inside here was quite remarkable as well. We start looking at the future, our Seaside Stars program. We are getting ready for our event. Right now, the scheduled date, I'm pushing forward with November 16th to get the 5 new stars installed. And that really is kind of my update for now. We've been really just plugging along. I've been able to hire a few new lifeguards, which is helpful. We're still trying to rein in their availability at the pool. And I think I did recently promote an employee to full-time for our older adult program. So we are having a little bit more consistency over there as well. So really kind of excited about what's going on with recreation.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Walton.
Thank you. About the Seaside Stars, I know from what I've seen, it's been like all individuals, correct? Like citizens of the city of Seaside that have some kind of impact, something like that. Is there an like any way that like a business, like a long-standing, like a Mal's Market or something like, that's like an institution in Seaside could be nominated for a star?
Short answer is yes, because this year actually they are highlighting the Bakewell Company. So the Bakewell Company will be getting a star this year. Really, it just anybody, anything in theory could be nominated, and it would be up to the committee to make that designation. 2 years ago, Squid was nominated, right? So I think that there is that opportunity. And I will, always say that if someone or something gets nominated, please make sure that they really put in as much detailed information as possible. That really helps the committee members make a truly informed decision. And so really, I can't stress it enough, like really put in the work to do that nomination.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on to the reports from park staff.
All right, let me put on another hat. So I have a little update on where we are with some of our parks projects. So we heard from FOSPA, the Lincoln Cunningham Arterial Trail Project began on September 30th. Estimated work to be completed by the end of March. The project includes construction of the concrete multi-use trail through Lincoln Cunningham, pedestrian paths through all the courts, and we will be doing some seeding and erosion control as well. There will be some curb ramp retrofits and one accessible parking stall on Lincoln Street. Havana Solis Park, we saw the photos. The underground water take was installed and is operational. The Highland Otis volleyball court is complete, as well as the fencing. Catino, the planned improvements for fiscal year 24-25 included the painting of the Connex storage containers and sandblast the concrete in front of them. Project has not yet begun. Capra, they completed the wood fiber, was installed, and a swing set painted and sidewalk was patched. We've already discussed Wheeler and the resurfacing with 4 pickleball courts. The screening was installed. Mescal Neal, there was $1,800 for asphalt repair. Water tank has been installed with some fencing and a barbecue. San Pablo Bridge, the design is finalized, waiting to hear if we got ATP grant application. But they should be doing the demo of the bridge here within the coming months. There was a swing set installed at Sabato. Chetty had a picnic table and recycled containers. They also had their harvest festival over the weekend. And Trinity Park, removing trees and replanted 7, I don't know how to say this type of tree, acacia trees. Acacia trees, see? That's why you're here, Bobby. And Beta Park, staff was to replace the driveway off Lucerne and build a gate for maintenance. One thing on here too, I know we ordered some bike racks from the previous NIC funds. Those are still, they've been ordered. We're still waiting for them to be delivered, and then we will get them installed. That is the update on parks.
Cool, thank you. Any questions? All right. Reports from commissioners. Vice Chair Nielsen.
I went to, I was at the table for Parks and Rec at our birthday party. That was last Sunday, right? Last Sunday? Things are kind of blurry. 2 Sundays ago? No, it was last Sunday.
Last Sunday would be yesterday.
Oh, not yesterday, but the Sunday before. And the music was great. There were a lot of people there. It was fun. And I didn't make it to the drone show, but I saw videos and pictures of it, and I thought it was great. I'm hoping we can do something like that during the 4th of July. And I also volunteered at the Halloween dance luncheon at Oldmeyer. I pushed carts around with food, and it's so fun to do. I know I say this every time. The one thing I would like to request is that we get some new carts that are pushable. Some of them are borrowed from different areas or falling apart. And I really hope we can get some more carts. And that's my report.
Commissioner Moulton.
I have been doing lots of stuff, but nothing as good as Commissioner Nielsen. But I do run a podcast for the Monterey Bay FC Union, and it's called the Union Report. And we have recently engaged with Mike DiGiulio and some of the other senior leadership. We are providing player and coaching interviews available on YouTube and Instagram and X, Twitter, whatever. Just trying to grow the footprint here in Seaside and on the peninsula, especially with the off season coming up. I know in the past 2 years they've kind of fallen off the radar for everyone in the off season. So that's where my time and effort is being put in right now. That is all.
Very good. Commissioner White.
For the Seaside birthday, I came down and I came into the room here, and it was interesting when you go back, people with 50 years or more, and when they asked for comments, everybody sat there. I said, well, so let me go first. So I came. So I got up and gave my little spiel of my little history here in Seaside when I got here and coming up through the 50s and 60s and 70s. I'm telling how old I am. But it was interesting. And after that, we had some interesting sayers, talkers that brought about history and how they were raised and what was going on in Seaside through those years. So it was really nice. Enjoyed it.
Very good. Okay, I attended the city birthday for a short period. Then I came inside for the celebration for 50 years plus. I didn't say anything because I was pretty miserable. My allergies were messing me up. I missed the groundbreaking for Lincoln Cunningham trails due to a doctor appointment, but I heard that was I saw pictures of some of our commissioners over there, which was really good. What else? I don't know. I do so much stuff I forget half of it. So anyway, I'm having fun. I'm still here. So does anybody else have anything else? Thank you, Terry, for all your work, and Dan also.
Get one thing.
Pardon me?
I forgot one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Now I forgot what it was again.
Okay. Just like I do that same thing.
Wait.
I go, oh, man.
There
you go.
histories. That's why I'm interested in senior things, activities for seniors to improve their brain function. What about the histories? How are we going to hear those? Did anybody record them? Or are they going to put something together?
So unfortunately, my company couldn't be here that day to record it. The company that we use, they were booked. So my understanding is that there was someone in the audience who recorded the whole thing, and hopefully we can get that recording.
But we can also all attend the Seaside Stars so
Well, the thing
unveiling.
is, I don't even remember seeing that was going to happen. I mean, was it on the schedule or?
It was, and it was something that was started through Dominique, getting all of the, because we've been seeing it for, I don't know how many weeks, that was on City News and pushed through as we were soliciting input.
I remember that part, but I haven't been here 50 years, so I thought, well, it's not for me. So I didn't know it was for anybody to come in and listen to it. So that's what I must have missed somehow. Thank you.
Were we supposed to get a hat? A 50 years hat? Or I mean, whatever, a 70-year hat?
Did you get one?
No. Did he? Oh, oops. He called my name out and introduced me because,
I think I can get you one.
okay. It wasn't my birthday. My birthday's a long time ago.
The 50-year residents would have gotten one.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
I can get one for you.
that's all I had, I think. Yeah, the Stars, Seaside Stars is coming up November 16th. So anyway. Our next scheduled meeting, regular meeting is November 18th. 2024, 5:30 in these chambers, and hopefully we can figure out if we're able to attend the conference. So this meeting is adjourned.